Hello everyone, welcome. This is going to be my fishing sampling guide thingy. Um, Fishing has got a lot going on in the skills, so we're gonna go ahead and jump straight into it. Okay, so first off, we have in World 1, you got your stamps, which is gonna be basically your most important things that you can push. Um, that being the fishing rod stamp, the multi catch stamp as well. Those two are going to be your bread and butter. Um, you got your statues. You're going to want to push the Ocean Man statue and your Feasty statue. Uh, if you want to do that, the best way is Choco Chipping World 2. Then you've got your star signs in World 1. You got 2% skill AFK gain, 15% food effect, and 4% skill AFK gain. That was what I found to be best, but I do have 3 boost foods. If you don't have 3 boost foods, the boost food could be changed into 1% skill AFK gain, uh, or the Pisces if you don't have a 300% multi chance with just alchemy. So I do have 300% multi chance through alchemy. It's one of my hardest push bubbles. So yeah, I don't need that one because the efficiency gain on this is fairly low. So yeah, that was what I found to be optimal star signs. So that would be basically all the important World 1 bonuses. Let's go ahead and hop onto World 2 and show off some of these ones. You've got your fishing boxes, this box and this box you want maxed. Uh, and then you want Myriad Crate as well when you unlock that. Then you got obols. Put as many fishing obols as you can. I have not unlocked the 210 and 250 on this character yet. I'm still working on that, and the 2500 as well. So that's going to be my next project. Um, then we have alchemy. So fishing is actually some of the alchemy I've pushed the hardest. The Warrior's Rule is going to be an important bubble for you. Then you've got Sploosh Sploosh, this one being vital to reaching 300% multi chance through just alchemy alone. And then Strong Tools. Strong Tools was also very good for it. And then we have Fishing AFK gains, Shimmeron, because the golden food effect on the new fishing efficiency food is great, and that food you can get a ton of. And then the multi orange, push those bubbles as much as possible. Those are going to be your most important bubbles. Roid Raging helps as well. So push those as you can. Then we have World 3 bonuses. Going to go through them. We got the Prayer. So currently Skilled Dimwit takes me from 54 million to 139 million. Quite strong. And you also have Royal Sampler. Royal Sampler is your go-to. I highly recommend it. The XP loss can be mitigated. Next up, we have some book checkouts. Um, you just want to try to get 160, as many 160s as your on your skills as possible. I have a couple that I can still push. I was saving up 20 checkouts for something else. Um, but you can basically just roll as many books as you want for the fishing. 159 is the last relevant level for bobbing bobbers. Catching some Z's, you want as high as possible. Worming undercover, I know it says 120% chance. You want to go above 100% because it still affects AFK gains, which samples care about. So you want to push that as much as possible. Then you got your strongest statues, making your Ocean Man better. And then you want to push as much strength as possible. Strength's more, Fistful of Obols. The gold food effect, again, for the new ribs, very strong. Firmly grasp it, just a bunch of free strength, more strength. And then tab 1, you just want to max AFK gains and brute efficiency, and then pump out as much strength as possible. For star signs, you pump your Will of the Eldest as far as you can go. Beginner to best cost doesn't matter. TikTok, as far as it can go. Um, Attacks on Simmer used to help fishing. I'm not 100% sure if it still does, but go ahead and pump that if you can anyway. You want to pump toilet paper postage and stonks. You want to get that just for the free talent points. Um, then you're going to want to pump Super Source as much as possible, and Action Frenzy as much as possible, and Frothy Mulk as much as possible. For tab 3, none of it really matters, so we have not invested any there. So yeah, that would be your talents and the ones that you want to book up. Next off, we have the World 4 bonuses. So let's waddle on over. For World 4 bonuses, you just want to have as many nodes as possible. The relevant nodes being Chemistry Set, Certified Stamp Book. Again, there's a jewel I do not have access to right now. It's a green jewel that gives skilling speed and base efficiency, if I recall correctly. I just don't have it yet, unfortunately, so I am missing out on that. You want to double your stamps as well. Helps you get to the 300% multi chance without using the star sign. The Sapphire Navette gives you a good amount of stats. So, and then the stats directly correlate to fishing efficiency through strength. As far as shrines go, shrines don't really help fishing at all. And none of these other bonuses really make too much of a difference. The higher meal bonuses help, so if you have the efficiency meals unlocked, go ahead and try to hit those as well. As you see, I'm currently trying to make more whipped cocoa, uh, but that is the most important of the meal efficiencies. So whipped cocoa, then you have rice ball, and then you have, where is it? Corn. Those three you want to pump as much as possible. I did a bunch of coliseums for ladles. So the World 4 mini boss drops ladles and eggs. You want to pump your drop rate as much as possible and then go fight it. Preferably on a Maestro just because it's easier to get their drop rate high. Getting some ladles out of that will help you boost your meals quickly. So I currently used basically every ladle I had to try to pump out as much efficiency as possible. So then, as far as chipset goes, I'm currently using Doubling the Pendant because I have a really strong AFK gain pendant. You can also use like a strength AFK or strength pendant, but AFK should always be better. Um, so if you do not have a good AFK pendant here, you can just put some efficiency instead. It's actually fairly close, the bonuses, just because you can pump fishing efficiency or fishing AFK gains so high. The efficiency actually is pretty helpful as well. Next up, we have doubling the pendant, which is going to be Persephone, very strong, plus 15%. Next up, we have both card doublers, very good. The star sign doubler, very, very strong, because fishing effect, food effect affects all three of the fishing foods, and you also get an additional 6% AFK gains off the top as well. So just quite the strong bonus for one chip. Next up, we have the 15% skilling AFK gain, and then I found doubling the trophy was actually better than the total 20% total efficiency. The total efficiency is 20% total efficiency is slightly better than the base efficiency, but they are both very comparable. And for fishing, because of how the prowess tiers work, for medium fish specifically, both will either be completely useless or the same, basically, most of the time. So I found doubling the trophy on King of Food to be the most beneficial, so I am equipping that. So this is the chipset I used. Next up, we have card sets. So I found doubling the Kraken card and the Chaotic Troll card to be the most beneficial, followed by just pumping as many of the fishing cards as you can. I had to put the Coastolite in. Bunny would also do basically the same thing. However, the Choco Box, if you have yours leveled up higher, I think the Choco Box should be better. My Choco Box was just slightly worse than 5% AFK gains. So, 12% boost almost beat out 5% AFK gains. So you'll have to mix and match a little bit there, but overall, this was the best combination I found. And for the card sets, I found that Yum Yum Desert blew the other two out of the water. It was the other two being skill efficiency from easy resources and hard resources, 10% AFK gains. If you have access to all three of the boost foods, the Yum Yum Desert is just far and away better. If not, you can use the skill efficiency if it helps you get to a prowess breakpoint, but you'll have to mix and match and see. But as far as having access to all three boost foods, Yum Yum Desert, far and away better. Next up, we have basically gear. So I'm using the Royal Turban. I have a giant stack of golden ribs from farming World 4 mobs. You can actually farm these like quite effectively with a pretty optimal Maestro build, uh, as long as you're like able to run Curse of Looty Booty uh, and pumping your drop rate and everything. But yeah, these drop like crazy in World 4 with Chocolate Ship. So the turban's actually giving me about 3 mil efficiency. As far as other testing, I found it to be like close to just pumping a like a helmet with a lot of slots with just a bunch of strength from the World 4 stones, but I had this on hand, so might as well try it out, and it was slightly outperforming all the other options I had. But as far as headpieces go, nothing is really going to be that great. Um, so next up we have just the whatever weapon that you have the highest strength on. I just have not gone about making a new um, weapon. The new tier or the new World 4 weapons. Um, and then we have Studded Hide. I remade one and just pumped all the World 4 stones into it. Quite good. Fishing overalls, deep sea galoshes, good lord. Serrated Rex rings. I made some with some strength, and yeah, you got your Christmas cap, angel wings, whatever your best keychains would be. Basically, whatever has your max AFK gains. If you do not have that, then whatever has your highest strength. Um, any ring with just strength pumped into it, and then King of Food was basically always best. Pretty handedly beating Blunder Hero in fishing. But if you do not have King of Food, Blunder Hero is probably going to be your next best bet. Um, Starfire Rod, quite strong. You can see how good it is. Yeah, yeah, it's a pretty good upgrade, I would say. So definitely you want to get that. And then for other tools, just pump as much strength as you can into them. I could have remade some more of these and put more of the tool stones into it, but they're kind of difficult to farm, so wanted to hold off on that. Next up, we have foods. So, like I said, the golden ribs, and then you want to put your 3 boost foods for fishing, that being Slurpin' Herm, Candy Cane, and Aqua Pearl. So, yeah, that would be basically that. Make sure that you have your skills on your bar, and you'll see I went down a little bit of efficiency. That's because my strength wore off. So make sure you have your buff active as well. Alrighty, and also, I don't remember if I mentioned it in the catching video, but I did have it active. You want to make sure your Maestro bonus is still on. So you'll see I go from 81.7 mil to just having the Maestro hand. I go up to 139 mil. Very, very, very strong. You want to get your Maestro higher than your other skillers as much as possible. So, I actually already set up my fishing sampling because taking fishing samples is a pain. I'm going to be doing goldfish, skellyfish, and then but basically goldfish plus all the World 4 new ones. So the way I went about it, because basically it's a RNG game, was just I had someone in World 3, and if I wanted like goldfish and I sampled bloaches or whatever, I had to constantly keep switching between the two to get rid of the bloaches. It's a bit of a pain. Unfortunately, just gotta deal with it. until lava changes it. But that is how sampling on fishing works. So for goldfish, I used Crashbox and I used It's a Boy. Basically, just optimizing for speed. You want as much speed as possible. So you'll see I actually got a little bit more efficiency there. That's because the both of these actually give a little bit of fishing power. So, no, excuse me. So you'll see you'll get this error a lot if you have all your sample spots taken. You'll basically just get it until the goldfish pop up, and voila, 1.86 mil. So that was the combo I used. Oh, and this is the pool that you use for goldfish as well, because you'll see if I do it from here, it's significantly lower. Um, the uh, the pools that you use matter. So we're going to go over that more in depth on the World 4 ones, but because I'm only doing goldfish. But this is the optimal goldfish spot, and you can actually see that through the AFK menu. 1 second, let me. Okay, this is just gonna troll me, huh? There we go. So you can see right now we're getting 60% of our catches are going to be goldfish. If we click on this pond, click off of it, you'll see it dropped tremendously to 46% of our catches. So you're going to want to hit the pool that has the optimal amount of catches for whatever you're sampling. That will tremendously boost your samples on fishing. And again, it adds to the complicated nature of it. So the Crashbox and It's a Boy are what I found to be the most optimal for goldfishes, and none of the pools in here are good for goldfish. So now then, we move on to the World 4 ones. These ones are a bit less of a pain, but let's go ahead and go through them. So for Skellyfish, the that will be the first one, the 57%. So let's go ahead and click on each of the ponds. We see that 54 and 56. So the middle pond is your best for skellyfish. And I found the same tackle setup was best. So Crashbox plus It's a Boy. Basically, you just for the first one, I just wanted to optimize for speed, so I will show that. 194286. So let's just go with something that gives slightly higher. So like massless units giving me, man, it doesn't even up the percentage at all. Kind of funny. Let's say do any of these up the percentage. Nope. Well, massless unit gives you more of the green fish. But you'll see that the sample has actually decreased. 192 instead of 194. So, yep. Crashbox and It's a Boy are what I found best for the skellyfish. So, now we move on to sand sharks, which are the second fish, the yellow. So, the 25%, and you'll see it's still 25%, and 23%. So, it's between these two. So, let's see what we were getting in there. This is the way I actually go through and try to figure out which pool is best, by the way. It's kind of a pain, but I figured I'd put it on video. I already know it's the second pool, but it's 85320 versus 850. So second pool is slightly better. And for that combo, it was worm plus copper twine. Basically just maximizing how much you can get out of the thing here. So you'll see that these are both 34, for instance, but this one has a slight speed bonus. So that would be more beneficial. And then you see the rest of them, they lower the percentage. So that one's going to be your best bet there. And you'll see Wormy's the only one, basically. So 110k now. You'll see, again, just a little bit of tweaking, and we got an extra 20k an hour. So very, very worthwhile. All right, so next up we have manta rays, right? Yep, manta. So that would be right here. Which this one's going to be manta rays. 19% versus 12 versus 12. So this 19% is best. So now we want to find the combination that maximizes that 19%. So Pound of Feathers gives us 22, and it's a slight speed bonus. Perfect. That's exactly what we want. 22, 22, 23. Do we have any other 23s? Oh, that's a 23. And that's a 23. So you'll see that this is plus 20, plus 17. So this one's actually going to be slightly better, even though that this is getting a speed bonus. The way that any purple depth works is it actually takes from the two middle ones. So Silver Twine is going to be the best. 76, 329. And then Kraken will be the last one, and Kraken's really easy. You just pump up the purple depth as far as it can go. So that's going to be those two, the elephant plus electrical wire, hands down. And then 3376. So for the World 4 fishing, basically every time you change your uh, tackle, the combinations between them, your fishing efficiency is going to fluctuate. It's really easy to stay within the prowess breakpoint for World 4 fishing though, just because you see how massive the how far between the two it is. So even if I were, one lower, let's say, um, why didn't that do anything? There we go. Just wasn't updating right. So you'll see, there's a 30 million efficiency difference between this one as well. So usually you don't need to worry about keeping your prowess tier the same with World 4 fishing unless you're just on the cusp and you need the tackle to get you over that. In those case scenarios, just go with whatever keeps you whatever tackle keeps you in that prowess tier. So if I was just at 136 and a specific tackle gave me 137, that 137 is more important generally than the the percentage. Uh, but that being said, you gotta have to test it out because again, every count is unique. So, anywho, that's basically everything for fishing. Uh, as far as why I'm sampling these ones, I know people ask like, what what would you sample one? It depends on your account growth. Um, Basically, I do not have much of the World 4 fish at all. Most of it has just been manually fished out when I was farming for the cards. Um, so yeah, I have tons of the earlier world or the earlier fishing, but the new samples are much more needed. That being said, if you're just coming out of World 2 and bloaches are still super important to you, go ahead and sample bloaches. The same principles that I was talking about in this video, like what to maximize and how to push purple depth and such, all matter. If you don't have a Persephone's, for instance, you can go use the Fushimania or the new, basically upgraded Fushimania. This thing. This is good in between Persephone being the best and Fushimania being kind of whatever. And you get that through a very cheap fish head pendant out of the dungeon. So this is a good, basically starter pendant. But as far as things go, I found Persephone's to be best. Rex rings again, you can grab them. The recipe, make those, but just use what you have access to. If you have a helmet that's better than a turban, like I showed, the turban isn't that much better than just a regular strength based helmet. If I went to go farm another turban and put a bunch of strength on it, then yeah, it would be great. But um, just gotta mix and match, use what you got. But hopefully, this was a pretty helpful insight on how to go about fishing. It's in my opinion, I think the most complicated of the skills in terms of how to optimize it, just because the different pools and the different tackle combinations are much more annoying than mining, which is pump efficiency, pump speed, go hit rock. But as far as takeaways go, another thing I could say is when in doubt, try to maximize for fishing speed. Um, so I was actually testing the doubling the Kraken versus doubling the Shark was very close. 20% fishing speed almost beat out an additional 15% AFK gains. So when you can, basically try to optimize for speed. That said, here the AFK gains was king. So AFK gains then speed are kind of neck and neck. It just depends on how much of the bonus that they're giving. Because King of Food is 20% food effect, which affects three foods that give speed. But Blunder Hero is only 3% AFK gains. So King of Food just wins basically. So you gotta look at how much of the bonus at what each individual source of that bonus is giving. But when in doubt, try to optimize for speed and AFK gains, and then push efficiency as possible. But the efficiency is less important than just speed and AFK gains, as far as I found. So anyway, yep, that's gonna be it for this one. Next up was gonna be mining, as long as my HP shrine has finished leveling, which I think it is. Um, it is not. So when this HP shrine finishes, we're gonna go ahead and do mining. So maybe chopping next. So I'll try to get chopping out within the next couple days. So look forward to that. Hopefully I did not miss anything important. These are actually pretty hard to make. Sampling has gotten quite complicated to try to optimize for, but yeah, hopefully this helps. And if anyone has any questions, just leave it in the comments, and I'll try to answer them below. Thanks for watching, y'all.